the power to take away the life that is God-given.
Also, family of the former Wells Fargo HR manager Willis Ako hails the government for steps taken to bring his killers to book. Thank you for joining. I am Sheila Chelangat, and 30 minutes of this broadcast begin now. We begin in Kirinyaga County, where former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has made his first public appearance after the swearing-in of his successor, Professor Kithure Kindiki, yesterday at the KICC. Gachagua is attending a funeral service of akin to Baragoi MCA David Mathenge in Gishuku, Kirinyaga County. Take a look. Of course, you will get that in our subsequent bulletins. Now, the family of late Wells Fargo human resource manager Willis Ako has hailed the government for its efforts to bring to book his killers. Speaking during a candlelight vigil in memory of Ako, his elder brother Aggrey Onyango said they were pleased with the efforts by the government agencies so far. The vigil, held at the Governor's Park in Siaya Town, was organized by the Siaya Political Forum, where Ako was a member. Onyango, the former chairman of the defunct Siaya County Council, however, said the family was still demanding to know the mind behind the brutal murder of his younger brother. Siaya County Executive Committee member for Agriculture Sylvester Koth described the late Ako as a gentleman who detested altercations. His body was discovered on 23rd October 2024 at Mogorawe stream that forms the boundary of Siaya and Kakamega counties. 2 suspects have since arrested and presented before a Siaya court that ordered their detention at Kisumu Railways Police Station to enable the police complete investigations.
Biologically, we are brothers, but socially and everything, he's my son. Willis, if I were to talk about him, I would talk till cows come back home. I had said, and I will still say, to ask, who is this mighty man who wanted Willis dead?
Willis was a fine gentleman who would never engage in any altercation that would raise tensions or that would make people feel angry or upset. When things got out of hand, he would calmly use diplomatic language.
In my mind, whoever wanted Willis dead should not have done it the way they did it.
And to matters education, Principal Secretary for Higher Education Beatrice Muganda has announced that the government will form a committee to evaluate the new funding model in universities, ensuring it meets the needs of students and parents. Speaking at SECU's 11th graduation ceremony, Muganda reaffirmed the government's commitment to supporting universities for ongoing growth. She praised Southeastern Kenya University for its successful implementation of the new academic model and its effective management of the first-year student admissions.
To stand before you to dedicated to implementing policies that enhance access, equity, and quality in our institutions. Funding is, of course, a very key component of our responsibility to this university. And we have, over the years, been able to work with you to develop the beautiful facilities you see around here and to ensure that the operations are maintained to serve you effectively. SECU is emerging as a leader towards mitigating the triple planetary crisis. SECU has made significant strides in addressing environmental protection and climate change. The university's active involvement in stakeholder training, workshops, research, and cleanup activities is commendable.
Right, and moving on, the Senate Justice and Legal Affairs Committee has sided with 99% of Kenyans on the opposition of the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill. The bill that was sponsored by Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei is seeking to, among others, increase the term limit of elected officials from the current 5 to 7 years, as well as the proposed introduction of the position of Prime Minister. Stanley Nyaringita reports.
Senator for Nandi.
Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei's Constitutional Amendment Bill 2024, seeking to, among others, increase the term limit of President, Governor, MPs and MCAs from 5 years to 7 years, may be on its deathbed.
It is Senator Cherargei bill. It is not sponsored by anybody.
Following recommendations by the Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights Committee, seeking the Senate not to pass the bill. In its report to the Senate Thursday, the 9-member committee chaired by Senator Hilary Sigei has noted that 99.99% of the submissions delivered by 168,772 individual members of the public oppose the bill in its entirety. Amid the rife public and political discourse against the amendment bill, the committee has urged the Procedure and Rules Committee of the Senate to review the procedure for consideration of a legislative proposal to amend the Constitution. Sigei's committee further recommends for the introduction of amendments to the Senate standing orders requiring that such a proposal be accompanied by signatures of at least 15 other senators in support, unless it is sponsored by the majority party or the minority party.
State House of Engagement.
The report sets the stage for debate in the Senate next week Tuesday, with the senators expected to scrutinize each of the clauses in the proposed bill. Stanley Nyaringita, TV 47.
Thank you, Stanley. And moving on, a section of religious leaders are calling on the government to take action against perpetrators behind the alarming abduction and murder cases being witnessed in the country. Led by the Federation of Evangelical and Indigenous Christian Churches of Kenya, Secretary General Bishop David Thakana, the clerics called for a coordinated response to address the increase in brutal murders in the country. Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja had announced that a total of 339 murder cases have been recorded in 2024.
Tunahuzunika sana kusikia kwamba kuna watu wengi wanatekwa nyara bila kujua, wanachukuliwa na wanapotea na baadaye wanapatikana wakiwa wamekufa. Kwa hivyo kama kanisa tunauliza serikali ya kwamba ichukue hiyo nafasi waweze kusimamisha haya mambo.
As a church, we stand for life and we believe strongly that God gives life, and nobody has the power to take away the life that is God-given. We therefore want to speak on defense of every human life in this country and ask the people who are charged with the responsibilities of protecting the lives of the Kenyan people to do their work properly and protect the Kenyans from the killers. We do believe that the government has got the right machinery and the full force of the law to track down those killers and to prevent that from happening, because prevention is even better than cure.
Right. And the European Union ambassador to Kenya, Henrietta Geiger, has urged Kenyan exporters to diversify on the products that they export to the European Union and focus more into manufactured and high-value goods for increased profits. Speaking during the Economic Partnership Agreement Forum in Machakos County, Geiger stated that the partnership allows free access for Kenyans to export their products on duty and quota-free to 27 countries in the European Union. She further highlighted the importance of the forum by stating that the sensitization forums are meant to create awareness of the opportunities unlocked by the agreement signed in July this year.
This is part of a national roadshow, so we are going from county to county to make sure that everybody knows that EU and Kenya signed an economic partnership agreement which gives free access, duty-free, quota-free access of all Kenyan entrepreneurs to the European market. So all exports from Kenya will not be given any duty or quotas.
And it is a sigh of relief for the Singare community in Elgeyo Marakwet County after they were allocated a 10-acre piece of land for the planting of trees and environmental conservation purpose. According to the Kenya Forest officers in the county, the project will allow the Singare community to plan and plant native trees in the Bombut forest. The Ministry of Environment in Elgeyo Marakwet County has promised to help fostering environmental conservation.
Nina furaha kwa sababu ni mara ya kwanza serikali tuweze kushiriki pamoja, na hiyo ndio mwanzo, na natumai pia tutaendelea kufanya vizuri.
Wasocha si ya KFS. Mimi naona kama kutoka leo Watui tumetoa.
Driving as a county to ensure that we have, that harmonious coexistence between our people or among our people, and also the agencies that are mandated to take care of these forests.
And journalists in Mombasa held a peaceful march today across Mombasa Island, marking the International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists. According to the journalists, many have faced severe challenges since covering the anti-finance bill protest, where over 30 journalists were attacked and their equipment destroyed. They are now urging the government to strengthen protection for journalists and cease interference with press freedom.
Wakati tukiwa na maandamano yale ya Gen Z, kulikuwa na waandishi wa habari zaidi ya 30 nchini ambao waliweza kuwa attacked ama waliweza kufanywa vitendo vya uhalifu, na hadi mpaka sasa hivi hakuna hatua yote ambayo tumeona imechukuliwa. Kwa hivyo sisi letu kubwa ni kushinikiza serikali na taasisi zote za serikali, taasisi zote za usalama, taasisi zote za kisheria kuhakikisha kuwa yeyote yule anayepatikana kuwa amemuingililia mwandishi wa habari katika kazi zake ama attack mwandishi wa habari akiwa anafanya kazi zake, basi sheria lazima ichukue mkondo wake na haki ipatikane.
For us, we are just the messengers between the public and the government. So we want to say that as we move forward, we want to be protected, we want to be taken care of as the way. Wanahabari ni watu ambao tunatetea haki za kila mtu.
Tumeona journalists wakiumizwa in their line of duty. So we are here to say kwamba journalists wasiumizwe. We are here to protect their rights. Kwa sababu tumeona Murima imeguswa, lakini wasiguse journalist.
And the government has no choice today, and we remind our government they have no choice but to respect that journalists and their work is a fundamental pillar of our democracy. That a democracy without the freedom of the media is dead.
And away from that, parents have been asked to caution and closely monitor their children's activities during the long holidays. Speaking in Machakos County, after a PP1, PP2 graduation ceremony of over 120 children from Alibad Group of Schools, Charo Shedrack, the school board of directors, said technology and the influence of social media has become a threat to many children in the country, hence the need for parents to closely monitor their children. Charo's sentiments were echoed by the school kindergarten coordinator, who asked parents to take this holiday as a bonding period for parents and their children, since in most cases parents have been too busy to bond with their children.
We have realized we have a long holiday of 2 months. Take good care of these children, engage them even in good activities by reading storybooks. Let them go to church. Those who go to mosque, let them be spiritually nourished, nurture even their talents holistically. Check the company of the children so that their morals will not be destroyed. As the Holy Book says, bad company destroys good morals.
Social media, they should be very careful, because the social medias are showing them very many things which are not good. And we like them to control them with the social media. Even if they are buying them for, let them, they can even give them time. This is when to watch this one, or as you give them the phones, make sure that the phones are controlled. They don't just use them kienyeji.
Truly a message worth noting by parents. Moving on, the government is now reporting that Kenya is on a solid economic recovery with an increase in revenue generation as the Kenya Revenue Authority surpasses its tax generation target. Our reporter Elizabeth Atieno with the details.
Government seeks to bridge the 346 billion Kenya shillings deficit following the withdrawal of the Finance Bill of 2024. New measures are likely to be put in place by the taxman. Among them will be this expansion of the digital market in the proposed amendment of the income tax to include more digital operators. The government will also seek to introduce a minimum tax top-up, a measure that will target multinational companies to pay a minimum tax of 15%. Other measures include the introduction of withholding tax on goods that are supplied to public entities at a rate of 0.5%. Employees will also be required to increase their limit for pension contribution to 30,000 a month, as well as an introduction of economic presence tax if the proposals sail through. Other measures include the taxation of infrastructure bonds, KRA PIN to be made mandatory if working remotely, while affordable housing and share tax will be made deductible. This as Kenya projects a revenue collection of 2.7 trillion Kenya shillings this financial year from 974 billion Kenya shillings in the last financial year. The country's economic growth has also been positive at 5% above the 3% global average.
Growth is expected to moderate at 5.2% in 2024 and move to 5.4% in 2025. Your Excellency, it may interest us to know and note that the global economy presently is growing at 3.2%.
Kenya's current revenue collection is significantly below the East African Community target of 25% of GDP. Our aim is to raise revenue from our current 14% to 22% of GDP within the next decade, and to promote compliance from the current 70% to 90% by 2026-2027.
Government is putting measures to increase its revenue generation by ensuring that tax evaders are dealt with while harnessing private sector investment and leveraging on technology to seal revenue loopholes. President Ruto expressed confidence in the economic growth at State House, Nairobi, accompanied by his deputy, Professor Kithure Kindiki, among others.
And I must say, a good professor, that if there was an examination on your first assignment, I can say you have passed with very good colors. Because at the very least, you understand why we are here. There are many who would not understand why we are here. And in the past, I have tried. When such difficult subjects as the economy and taxes are being discussed, not many people want to participate because it's a very difficult subject, it's not very popular, and so populists don't like hard stuff.
Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
Elizabeth, Cape Media's team, courtesy of Cooperative Bank, are on a campus wave tour of Chuka University in Tharaka Nithi County. This collaboration aims to mentor youth to create a financial-wise future by registering on Year App, an application that will enable them to access a variety of banking money transfers and payment services. Anastasia Mukabi reports.
Life ijipe leo na sio kesho, sawa?
The Tharaka Nithi County youths were thrilled to engage with the Cape Media team, courtesy of Cooperative Bank, campus wave tour at Chuka University. Through training and inspiring young talent in these dynamic pods, this collaboration aims to educate youths on transforming their passion into business by registering on Year App.
This account ideally targets those aged between 18 to 35, and it's available
scalable and applicable to a different number of segments.
The head of banking at Cooperative, Chris Mwasia, outlined some of the benefits of opening this young innovators account.
Number one, you have the webinars for you, get trained. Two, if you're doing an online business, hustle and all that, you got what you call the virtual cards. You're able